Unumhensha writes about propaganda and conscience. This is Njenje Media TV, your star station. Welcome. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the bell icon for notification. I am John Paul Ani. Buhari said, I sit here with a clear conscience. Major General Muhammadu Buhari, the Nigerian president, last week appealed to Mary Beth Leonard, the new ambassador of the United States to Nigeria. He said, and I quote, I took an oath and I am honoring the office. It was painful to hear the Nigerian ruler attempting to explain to a diplomat how difficult it is for him to unify Nigeria, pleading, I am doing my best. To make the matter worse, he discredited the same old age information mechanism the US has used in Nigeria for 60 years. Buhari told Mrs. Leonard that during your stay in the country, I am asking you to ensure that your sources of strategic information cut across. In the Buhari years, the United States of America has reported every year through the Department of State that Nigeria remains hostage to massive corruption, bad governance and impunity. Buhari never got angry, perhaps because those reports did not challenge him personally. Daily, local and international journals have reported on the crime scene that is governance in Nigeria. A scene so bad, the ruling party actively seduces the biggest crooks in the country. It is a crime scene so bad, he abandons his people to bad hospitals or no hospitals while he sends their money abroad to look after himself, all the time claiming the man of integrity. But then came the Omoyele Sowore trap. The Sahara Reporters publisher didn't set the trap. He was the trap himself. But I suppose that when you are an all-powerful general, you do not need the gift of vision. You do not need the gift of vision. Why look at an ant when you can just crush it? By last week, curiously, there were only recriminations after those powerful boots failed to crush the ant. Abuja choking under humongous international and local pressure. The new US ambassador arrived at the crest of the crisis, her country itself adding to its human rights concerns in Nigeria a charge of violation of religious intolerance. President Donald Trump had warned Buhari about it during his state visit last year. The immediate scandal was the refusal of Nigeria's secret police to boycott others to release Omoyele Sowore. The government had said Buhari could not intervene in the matter. The Minister of Justice and Attorney General Abubakar Malami similarly demurred. But something somehow cranked up the heat, and 3 days before Christmas, Buhari was seething with anger. Mr. Femi Adesina, the spokesperson, grumbled on television saying, in international relations, you respect the internal affairs of the other country. He went further. The US itself has enough to chew, solving its own problems, not to talk or poke nose into that of another country. No man, no country, nobody has appointed them the policeman of the world. Let them face their own issues, Mr. Adesina concluded. Now, I understood him to mean that Buhari would continue to do whatever he pleased, including nothing at all. That if he wanted to hold any citizen, he would, just like in the good old days. But then, just days later, the man they said could not be set free was a free man. Omoyele Sowore did even better or worse. The Sahara Reporters publisher deployed an exclamation mark on his way out as he set former National Security Advisor Sambu Dasuki free as well. It was one of those incomprehensible ironies of life, as Sowore had been a critical reporter of the Dasuki story. But think of it. Only as earlier, Buhari was exchanging an ambassador's letters of credence with the color of his conscience, saying, I sit here with a clear conscience. But that inadvertently illustrates part of the problem. Buhari should be serving, not sitting. Doing good things for an ambassador to report is service. And Sowore did not lead us here. Buhari's refusal to embrace democracy did. Only the week before Christmas, he was still regretting that he does not have the absolute powers he enjoyed as a maximum ruler near 40 years ago, telling his aides that democracy is too slow for his taste. He said, and I quote, "When I came in uniform, I got those who were leading, took them to Kirikiri maximum prison, and told them they were guilty until they could prove themselves innocent. And now, here are we, a government which begs foreigners for favorable reports. How do you write a story of peace in a war with bloodshed all over?" Back to the rule of law. Let us remember how the story began. In February 2016 and July 2017, when two federal courts independently ordered the Buhari government to publish a full record of recovered stolen funds since 1999, including detailed information on the total amount of stolen public assets that have been recovered, what had been spent, and of course the details of the project on which they were spent. The second court ordered the publication of a list of the higher-ranking public officials from whom the government had recovered funds since it assumed office and the sums recovered from them, affirming that it owed the legal debt to identify all suspected looters of the public treasury. Both courts ordered the government to dismantle publication of the information widely, including on a dedicated website. Buhari ignored the first order, and of course the second. Worst still, within hours of that second order, the government began a major disinformation plan, with Abubakar Malami announcing that the government fully agreed with the court and would comply. 2 weeks after, he met with a delegation from SERAP, the organization which had floored the government in court in both cases. Yes, the Attorney General repeated, but you could smell his insincerity 1,000 miles away. The government would publish the information. And that was what he said. He was lying. And that was 2.5 years ago. The identity of Nigeria's biggest looters is Nigeria's biggest security concern, and nobody was going to breach it. In effect, the fictitious anti-corruption regime has now kept 2 decades worth of kleptocrats well protected. Rule of law. The same Malami was quoting the Constitution last 2 days concerning the release of Omoyele Sowore and Sambu Dasuki, somehow suggesting that his government cares about the law. If so, where was Malami in September 2018? To take one example, when Buhari accepted the 45 million contribution of the Nigeria Consolidation Ambassadors Network towards his re-election, a gift which clearly violates the Constitution, the Code of Conduct for Public Officers, and of course, the Electoral Act. In the light and of the recent governorship chaos supervised by the same government, it is ironic that Buhari is pledging in 2023 to make sure, using the law enforcement agencies, that elections are free and fair, that nobody uses his office or his resources to force himself on his constituency. The truth is that Buhari snatches opportunism for every opportunity, which is why he is redefining Nigeria very badly. Only he and his worshippers, therefore, can understand what he meant at Christmas when he described 2019 as a very successful year politically and ethnically. And if this is his best, as he told the US, it is no misery, it is no mystery. The country is doing far worse than before he arrived. It is the direct result of these new deaths of corruption and depravity, nepotism, divisiveness, and contempt for excellence. This column welcomes rebuttals from interested government officials. John Paul and